From a fight for GOP unity to a fight for unity, we're talking across the country. Donald Trump labeling President Obama as divider in chief. But tonight, will Trump be able to present himself as unifier in chief to Virginia Governor Jim Gilmore, who thinks he will? But former Ohio State Secretary of State Ken Blackwell isn't convinced. Ken, I want to start with you. You've been skeptical from the very beginning. We've seen 3 days of the GOP convention where the overarching theme was sold to us as unity, but we haven't always seen that so far.
Well, I think we're going to see it tonight, Charles. And let me just be perfectly clear with you. I think Donald Trump has been a gentleman. I think he has embraced the GOP platform, which is a conservative platform. I think he has laid out a path to restoring judicial order to the Supreme Court. And as a consequence of that, and given our choice in this election, I'm going to be working very, very hard for the election of Donald J. Trump.
Governor yesterday, after Ted Cruz implored the audience to vote their conscience, Hillary Clinton tweeted out the same thing, obviously taking advantage of this. Do you still think that there are more Ted Cruzes out there who maybe don't want to speak up for fear of maybe the backlash, but do you fear that there's still some work to be done within the party? And once that's done, how does Donald Trump spread this message beyond to independents and Democrats?
Well, listen, Charles, I agree with what Mercedes Slapp said and my friend Ken Blackwell. We have to unify the party. At a critical moment about a month and a half ago, when there were prominent Republican leaders out there saying, never Trump, we're never going to support him. Jeb Bush just wrote a very negative op-ed just the other day. I tried to become a voice for unity for this party. The party has got to be unified because we have to keep our eye on the main point. And the main point is defeating Hillary Clinton. She has a liberal agenda. The Obama-Clinton economic policy is making people poorer. It's making people more desperate. It's creating dissension in the country. We have to do something to grow this economy. She will not do it. And the key is to not get into this kind of inter-party argument going back and forth. I think what Ted Cruz did last night was very counterproductive, very unhelpful. He was putting his own ambitions ahead of the best interests of the party and the country, and I don't support that.
You know, Ken, tonight we hear that the theme's going to be law and order, the wall, and things like that. If that's indeed the case, I think the narrative from the Democrats will be that Donald Trump has an anti-brown people agenda. We already had a guest earlier today who said that. And the idea is that he's going to just try to bring out a larger white voting electorate this time around to win, regardless of other non-whites in this country. How does he get over that sort of that fight against him? Because that's the one on the Democratic side that they keep pounding away at.
Well, look, Governor Gilmore and I are both the directors of the National Rifle Association. One of the most popular ads that we have out right now is a black woman saying that she wants to be safe in her home and among her family members. As a consequence, I think there are a lot of folks, black, brown, Asian, African American, you name them, who want to be safe in their neighborhoods and who, in fact, embrace the Constitution. We need a president that understands that capital seeks the path of least resistance and greatest opportunity. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama run capital away. We have $2 trillion sitting on the sideline. Donald Trump will put that back into our economy and produce jobs. That means that we will have Americans of all stripes working again. That's what people want. That's what they want to hear. And they want an America that is standing tall and defending freedom, and both at home and abroad. And that's the sort of leadership that he's going to provide.
Well, I always say you can't have prosperity unless you have peace. That goes for countries and even neighborhoods. Guys, stay right there. We've got protests about to get underway right outside of the RNC. And I want to go to Jeff Flock, who's in Cleveland with a live update. Jeff.
Yeah, Charles, you know, yesterday was the day for the radicals. It was the Revolutionary Communist Party burning an American flag, and on the right side, or the ideological right, we had a church group that was saying Democrats and Catholics are all going to hell. Well, today, I think it's fair to say we have a much more reasoned protest. This is a stand against Trump rally where it actually hasn't started yet. We're walking with a group that is headed to the start of the march. They're going to do about an hour-long march through downtown Cleveland, and this is a message just of peace and against, they don't like Donald Trump's tone. That's a fair protest. Nobody's burning flags. Nobody's inciting a riot out here. This will be a calmer one, but it starts in about 20 minutes, and we do expect, though, a coalition of groups that are standing against Trump to do this march. And we're headed up to the start of it, and we'll check back with you later in the hour and see how it all turns out.
All right, Jeff Flock, thank you very, very much. Of course, economic turmoil among the reasons we're starting to see protesters like this. Many say Democratic policies are causing problems with the economy, so why aren't Democrats seeing protests like these? Governor Gilmore, should the DNC actually be the one seeing the protests? After all, they've been in charge of the economy for almost 8 years.
You bet. And frankly, these kinds of protests are pretty mild compared to things that I've seen in the past. That's not really the point. The thrust is exactly what you said. It is the Democratic Party's policies that are making Americans poor. It's a deliberate effort to reduce growth in this country and to not create an affirmative growth program in this country. They have done issue after issue, regulatory regime, tax policies, everything to prevent the country from growing. And it must be the Republican platform to move forward and actually create jobs and opportunities, just as Ken Blackwell said a few moments ago. That has to be the Republican thrust, and it is the Republican thrust. If Hillary Clinton is elected President of the United States, people will grow poorer, jobs will be reduced, and people are going to be more and more frustrated. That's why it's imperative that we unite as a Republican Party and carry a unified message into the election and elect Donald Trump instead of Hillary Clinton.
You know, Ken, I liked moments ago you connected some dots for us, and I think the Republicans have done a poor job of that in the past, allowing Democrats to say that they're simply the party for the rich. But how do you get people, because in most polls, Hillary winning with at least outpolling Donald Trump, with people with $50,000 or less or the unemployed, to understand that free market principles unlock opportunities for everyone, and it's not just about the rich getting richer.
Charles, I always tell our mutual friend Tony Perkins that we are rapidly becoming a culture where earning money doesn't entitle you to it, but wanting money does. You know, you and I grew up in families that taught us that there was some value in hard work and being able to keep what you earn to build your family and to build a future. You would be surprised at the number of Asians, Hispanics, and Black Americans who actually believe that and hold that value true. We need to show up. Governor Gilmore and I know this from being statewide officers. You have to show up. Donald Trump is going to show up, he's going to stand up, and he's going to basically say that he's going to grow the American economy so that the almost historic low labor participation rate goes away and people once again are able to find jobs and opportunities and support themselves.
You know, Governor,
Charles,
I think that's go ahead, Governor.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing about this. The Democrats talk about working people, but they are the ones who are injuring working people. We have never really come out of the Great Recession. We have seen people who haven't seen a wage increase in 15 years. The last 27 quarters of the United States has seen substandard growth by historical standards. This is deliberate. It's intended to keep people poor. The Republicans have got to be the party of growth and opportunity, and I believe we are, and that's why we're going to win this election in November.
Yeah, and I think that that participation rate is not just about the economy, but people giving up on the American dream. And to me, that's one of the most hurtful things I've seen over the last several years, that when people throw in the towel, that's it. You can't succeed if you don't try. And I hope people still believe in this country. Guys, it was a kumbaya moment. I couldn't get Ken to go off here, so I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Good. Thank you, Charles.
All right.
Maybe